to be an expert in order to achieve satisfactory investment returns. All you need to do is to recognize your limitations and follow a course certain to work well. These are the valuable words lifted from the world's most admired investor Warren Buffett's recent letter to his shareholders, where he talks about his two real estate investments. Today in the Realty Debate, my attempt will be to cull out that simple course of action which can ensure that you don't go wrong with your property investments and make reasonable returns. My panel today, also Harsh Rungta, CEO apnapaisa.com. Let me begin with that first notion that I think a majority of people in this country with 1.2 billion population have, that property prices can't go down, especially if you're willing to hold the asset for 3 years plus. My big question is it a myth or reality? I can see Harsh smiling there. So Harsh, over to you with that first question.
Well, I think I would say that's a myth, because we have seen property prices go down. I mean, even in India, I mean, anybody who's been at it for some time knows. I mean, we've had this period during the mid-90s. We have had this period during the mid-first decade, 2004, 2003, 2004 period. In fact, there has been, at least as far as Bombay is concerned, and we've done these numbers on the ready reckoner rates that are published in Bombay for the last 20 years, and we have a 10-year period over which there is a negative return, slightly negative, but there is. So I think this notion that property prices have only one way to go and that's up, I think is something that people need to think about. Because we have seen it drop in the past, and it's hugely regulation driven. I mean, the supply of any commodity that's completely rationed, and where the rationing rules can change overnight, I would take anything on that with the normal caution that I would have on any asset class. So I think that is the only point. I'm not saying it's a bad asset class. I'm just saying the normal caution that I would associate with any asset class, I would associate it with real estate as well.
Okay, so you're saying it's a myth because there has been a prolonged period, almost a decade, where India's real estate actually saw a deep depression and came out of it just maybe slightly negative. Amrish Rungta, what do you think? I mean, take leverage and then invest in real estate. What are the downsides? Because we've only heard some of the positives so far.
I think, Manisha, I would like to take just a minute here and define what we mean by real estate. Okay. You know, when we talk flats, in most cases, because of the sheer amount of marketing available, we're talking under construction flats. When a lay person buys an under construction flat, let us be clear, he is not buying real estate. He is doing in a small way what Ritesh is doing as a fund. He is lending money to the builder. Okay, that is the asset class that he is in. He is not into flats. It is only when the property will get ready that it turns into real estate. Okay, as far as leveraging is concerned, I mean, leveraging is very simple. If your appreciation is higher than the leveraging rate, leveraging makes sense. If your leveraging rate is higher, then obviously you are actually going to make a further loss. The big issue with taking leveraging on under construction flat is that it is not tax deductible. Very few people actually know this. Okay, it is not tax deductible, and I mean 10.5%, which is the current leveraging rate, non-tax deductible is 10.5%, and I don't know too many even residential properties that is going to give a 10.5% return year after year compounded. So leveraging will actually increase your losses as long as the increase is not as high as 10.5%. So I think key is, when people talk real estate, people should be very clear that if they are talking real estate, either plots, because at least that is sellable as plots, or if they are talking flats, okay, then they should be talking of real ready flats. Otherwise they are in the lending business, and that is the return that they should be looking at. I mean, Ritesh looks at 22%. As an individual, what should I look at? I think that is something that each individual should ponder over, given the fact that Ritesh would do a huge amount of due diligence, a lot of documentation and security, whereas as an individual, for me to even be able to get back anything from the builder, I mean, get an audience with him, forget about getting my money back, is going to be a big deal. So, I mean, the risk associated with that investment is so high, I just can't even begin to see how it makes sense.
All right. Harsh Rungta, final, sum it up, because for you and of course Amrish both play a much larger role. If you were to sum up real estate, how much you've already said, but what are the things that you need to be careful about in the next 2 to 3 years?
So clearly, I think real estate is like any other asset class. If you have a big enough portfolio, it should be part of your portfolio. Just remember, it's a high touch investment. So I completely agree with the gentleman here who says buy it in the city in which you stay. It's a hugely high touch investment, whether you are looking at yield, whether you are looking at exits. So it's very difficult to keep it as a percentage of your portfolio because it is so lumpy. So have it if your portfolio is large enough, realize it is risky, be reasonable in your return expectation. Most importantly, calculate your returns. I mean, because of the law of large numbers, when people see money in crores, they forget that the percentage return may not really be as high. Find out what your real percentage return is, and you may be surprised that it probably isn't as high as you thought it was, and maybe therefore it might be time to exit. So just remember, it's a high touch investment. It's something you should have in your portfolio if your portfolio is big enough, and make sure that you keep track of it. I think it's very easy to become emotionally attached to that asset and not exit at the right time.
In fact, I think while we watch stocks almost on a daily basis, we tend to forget anything about our real estate investments. Anecdotally, we hear it's going up. We do see the value going up. We don't even get down to an Excel sheet to calculate what are the actual returns that asset has given us, minus all the maintenance costs that we've paid, the renovation fees that we've paid. And I think that's the biggest fallacy here in real estate investment. One, believing that it has a very strong bottom, it won't go down. And secondly, not really looking at the kind of returns you should expect, can expect, and are getting from your real estate asset, and just keeping it in your portfolio because it's there. Gentlemen, thank you very much.